Chapter 66.
University courtyard. Warm afternoon. Lena sets up on a picnic bench shaded by a tree. Textbooks spread out and iced coffee within reach. Noel is beside her with crayons, his own notebook open. Lena, smiling. Okay, 20 pages of behavioral theory. And then we go get fries. Noel, smiling. Deal, and I'm in charge of making sure you don't nap. He wears his little watch and clicks a button. Noel, timer set. Go. A few minutes later, a small boy around Noel's age wanders over, holding a toy truck and wearing a superhero t-shirt. He stops in front of Noel. Little boy, curious. Hey, what are you doing? Noel, without looking up. Coloring. Little boy, cool, can I sit? Noel, inspecting him. Do you color inside the lines? Little boy, confused. Sometimes. Noel, nods seriously. Fine. Sit there. Not too close. The boy scrambles beside Noel, fascinated. The little boy tries to show Noel his toy truck. Noel, frowning. You should hold the wheels when rolling. Otherwise, they squeak and distract the people who are working. Little boy. Oh, okay. Noel, correcting. And when you talk, keep your voice like this. He lowers his tone. Quiet. Courtyard's off of focus. Little boy, awestruck. You talk like my dad. Noel nods proudly. People say that. Also, I drink coffee sometimes. Lena, laughing quietly. Noel, that was a sip. And it was decaf. Noel, ignoring her. Still counts. A woman walks across the courtyard, calling out. Woman! Cameron! There you are. I've been looking for you. Lena looks up as the woman approaches. She's in her mid-30s, professional and warm. She hugs the boy. To Lena. Apologies. My son wanders. I'm Professor Walter's literature department. Lena, smiling, standing. No problem. I'm Lena. Psychology. Professor Walter's smiling. Thank you for looking after him. Lena, nervous chuckle. No problem. Meanwhile, Noel stands in front of Cameron. Noel, we had a meeting. He did okay. Needs practice. Professor Walters, blinking. Oh. Are you Elias Crane's nephew? Noel, nodding. I am, Cameron. Whispering to his mom. Mum, he's like a kid CEO. Professor Walters to Lena. You must have your hands full. Lena, laughing. Every day, back at Elias's place evening. Elias opens the door. Lena and Noel are already home. Dinner cooking. He sets his briefcase down. Elias. How was the courtyard? Noel. Serious. I made a colleague. He needs some work. Lena. Laughing. He made a friend. Corrected his posture. Gave him life tips. Elias, smiling. Really? That his teacher said he barely talks in class. Noel, puffing his cheeks. That's not true.
Chapter 67.
Psychology department, Professor Lowell's office midday. The room smells faintly of lavender. Lena sits across from Professor Lowell, who's wearing a crimson silk blouse and her signature smug smile. She flips through Lena's printed thesis with the same energy someone might use to skim a grocery list. Professor Lowell, clipping. Miss Hart, I've reviewed your project and I must say I'm not impressed. Lena leans forward, confused. Lena. But I already got approval from Dr. Kim since 2 months ago. My references, citations, format, everything is in order. Professor Lowell, smirking. Dr. Kim has always had a soft spot for promising students. I'm less sentimental. Lena. My topic meets the department criteria. Professor Lowell. Maybe. But the depth is lacking. And frankly, your conclusion is more poetic than professional. You'll need to redo it completely. A chill runs through Lena. Her hands clutch the edge of her seat. Lena, shaky. But my last exam is next week. I won't have time to. Professor Lowell, sweetly. Then you'll have to decide what matters more. Passing. Or performing. The subtext is clear. Lena's chest tightens. There's something personal here. Something ugly beneath the surface. Professor Lowell, smiling. Best of luck, Miss Hart. Elias's office later that day. Lena enters quietly, face pale. Elias glances up from his desk. He sees her expression and immediately stands. Elias. What happened? She hands over the rejection slip. He reads it silently, then closes the file with careful, deliberate calm. Elias, quiet, sharp. Lowell. Lena. She said it lacked depth. Told me to redo it completely. She was cold. Like I offended her somehow. Elias stares for a moment, jaw tightening. He knows this is retaliation. Knows exactly what Lowell is capable of. She once came into his office under the guise of academic. Collaboration closed the door behind her. Leaned too close, made compliments that weren't appropriate. He had shut her down firmly but respectfully. Apparently she hadn't forgotten. Elias to Lena, gently. You're not starting over. We'll revise what you already have. Sharpen the edges. Fortify it. If she wants to play this game. She regret inviting me to the board. Lena, softly. But if people find out you're helping me. Elias, meeting her eyes. They won't. I've done it for dozens of students. Besides, I'm not helping you. We are just going to correct some words.
Chapter 68.
Elias's house that evening. The table is covered in books, articles, and sticky notes. Noel is asleep on the couch, hugging his stuffed giraffe. Lena's hair is pulled into a loose bun. Her face is tired but focused. Elias sits across from her, reading through her rewritten abstract with narrowed eyes and red pen in hand. Elias. Don't say most people feel. Say participants demonstrated. Lowell hates generalizations. Lena, scribbling notes. She's going to hate it no matter what. Elias, without hesitation. Then we make it undeniable. He looks up, voice low. Elias. You didn't deserve that. Lena. And I won't let anyone sabotage what you've earned. Lena bites her lip, fighting the emotion welling up. Lena, softly. Thank you. For believing in me. Elias. Always. Later that night. Lena has fallen asleep at the table. Book still open. Elias stares at her. He brushes her hair, watching her with a softness no one ever sees from him. He whispers to himself. Elias. She's so brave, she doesn't need protecting. But I'll protect her anyway. Lena stands in front of Professor Lowell's desk, her freshly revised thesis held tight in her arms. She breathes deeply, hoping this will finally be over. Lena, politely. Good morning, Professor. I've come to submit the updated version of my thesis. I corrected all the areas you mentioned, and one included new data and citations as recommended. Professor Lowell barely glances at her. Professor Lowell, flatly. I won't be reading it. Lena, blinking. Excuse me? Professor Lowell, coldly. It's not worth the time. We both know you didn't write it alone. Lena, carefully. I had support, like every final year student. Professor Lowell, cutting in. No, you had him. Professor Crane. Lena stiffens. Professor Lowell. You're not fooling anyone. Lena. Everyone can see what's going on. You're doing stuff with him behind closed doors. Lena's throat goes dry. Lena, that's not true. Professor Lowell, smirking. Sweetheart, you think you're special. You're just another name. He's done this before. Girls like you always fall for the brooding type. He uses you, then throws you away. Lena, voice trembling but trying to hold it together. You're making accusations based on nothing. Professor Lowell, fierce. I've known Elias Crane longer than you've been in this program. He turned me down. Yes, but don't think he's a saint. Ask about Grace, Nolan, or 2019. Ask Hal. He managed to keep his position after the ethics board got involved. You're just next in line. Lena flinches, but she lifts her chin. Professor Lowell. I'm filing a complaint. You're going to fail. And you're not graduating, Lena. I'll make sure of it. A long silence. Lena's heart is pounding in her ears. Her hands shake to herself. It's all I. He's not that kind of person. Lena, quiet but clear. Say whatever you want about me, but don't pretend your grudge is academic. She turns and leaves, face flushed, throat tight, but still standing.
Chapter 69.
Outside the office. A few moments later. Lena walks down the hallway quickly, breathing hard. She reaches into her bag for her phone. She was recording the whole conversation. She knew something like this could happen. Hands shaking, she rewinds a few seconds. Her own voice plays. Then Lowell's threats. Her accusations. The lies, everything. Lena slowly presses stop. Then she stares at the screen. Stunned. She didn't plan it. She wasn't trying to trap anyone. But somehow, the truth caught itself. Elias's office later that day. Elias looks up as she walks in. Her face is unreadable, but her hands are steady now. Elias, gently. What happened? Lena walks to his desk. She places her phone down, still open to the recording. Lena, I think we have a problem. And I also think I have the evidence. Elias listens to the recording Lena brings him. His expression never changes. Not when Professor Lowell insults Lena. Not when she lies about his past. Not even when she threatens Lena's graduation. He just sits there stone still until the audio ends. Then he quietly removes his glasses and stands up from his chair. Elias, calmly. She did this to herself. Lena, worried. She didn't even look at my thesis. Elias, brushing her hair gently. You don't have to do anything. Leave this to me. Dean's office later that day. Elias Crane walks in with a thin folder. He does not bring up Lena. Not once. Instead, he places 2 documents on the table. One is a formal complaint regarding Professor Lowell's history of academic bias and unethical behavior. The other is an older, sealed faculty misconduct file 1 Elias personally pulled from archive. Elias. I believe Professor Lowell has targeted students in the past. This is not isolated. And as you'll see, this behavior has already been documented, only previously suppressed. The dean flips through the files. Stunned. Dean. Where did you get these records? Elias simply. Buried. Where she left them. Dean stern. These accusations, if true, could lead to immediate review and suspension. Elias. Quiet, lethal. I suggest the department begins today. Faculty meeting. Confidential room. A closed-door meeting is held. Elias does not attend. But by the end of the day, Professor Lowell is removed from the thesis review board and put on administrative leave. Pending investigation, the department releases a quiet announcement. In light of recent faculty restructuring, all final year thesis submissions, previously handled by Professor Lowell, will now be reviewed by a new supervisor. Elias's apartment that evening. Lena sits on the floor with Noel, helping him build a toy city. Her phone buzzes. Text from Elias Crane. Lowell is off the board. Your thesis is under new review. Quietly handled. You won't be called in. Also, I'm very proud of you. She covers her mouth, eyes welling. Not because she's scared, but because it's finally over.
Chapter 70.
New faculty reviewer's office the following week. A kind, fair professor smiling as he goes through her thesis. Lena is seated across. Professor. Miss Hart. This is excellent. Clean, focused, and well argued. I'm happy to say it meets graduation standards. Lena lets out a long breath she's been holding for weeks. Elias's office later that day. Lena walks in, glowing. She doesn't say anything, just walks over and hugs him tightly from behind. Lena, softly. Thank you for fighting for me. Even when I didn't know how. Elias turns and hugs her. Elias, you don't need anyone to fight for you. But I'll always be first in line. Early morning, 3 days to her last exam. Lena and her friend Mia sit on a bench, flipping through textbooks. Her notes are color-coded. Her highlighter's almost dry. Mia, grinning. I still can't believe your boyfriend is your last exam. Lena, don't call him that here. And yes, Crane's class. The hardest one. Mia, I'd ask him for hints if I were you. Lena shakes her head serious. Lena, no. I'm passing this on my own. Elias's office later that day. Lena stops by to drop off Noel, who's bouncing around with energy. Elias looks up from his grading, softening when he sees her. Elias, you're pale. Are you eating? Sleeping? Lena, smiling tiredly. No, I've been busy preparing. For your exam. Elias raises a brow. Elias, you do know you're allowed to ask for help. Lena, soft but firm. If I pass your exam, I want to know I earned it. No special treatment. No bias, just me. Elias watches her carefully, something proud flickering behind his usually unreadable gaze. Elias, then you'll get the full weight of my expectations. Lena, smirking. Bring it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on your notification to know when I upload the next chapter.